my God, it's a Christmas miracle. I can't believe it. Another episode after so long. What else is there possibly to talk about? Every now and then I'll think of something, but yeah. I've been not wanting to do anything for like weeks now. Everything's starting to get to me. My heart is exhausted, and that's been fun to notice because it's like my body just knows better. And lately I've been feeling a fire inside of me every time I'm like somewhere where I know I could be doing something better with my time or something. I'm still trying to figure that out. But it's really neat because it's pretty heavy when it's in the right spot too. It's just, if that isn't the whole compass, I wouldn't necessarily treat it that way, but at the same time, I almost do. I keep it all with a grain of salt in the back of my mind so I can make sense of everything and keep it from getting out of priority and messing up the whole honor chain. So, I don't know. As I try to get closer to what I'm supposed to be, or whatever I'd like to enjoy more, I really, I feel like everything's just in a standstill because I'm surrounded by so much of reality on so many levels. It's like I feel just fine being exactly where I am, and then at the same time I'm really depressed. But this is awesome because now I think I've like no other choice. I've been spending the last couple weeks like setting things up to like force myself to do productive things, whether it's practice or like just make stuff or end up back over here doing this thing. It's happening, and it's happening as I speak right now, and it takes time for whatever, but like after a while you start looking at, if there was no time about it and you're just left with results, then maybe some of this suffering was completely unnecessary. Was there a need to go across town for some specific random thing when I could have just still been working, doing something that gave me more leverage? I don't know. Anyway, this is all in the name of forcing myself to get off of my butt and do something with my life about it right now. Instead of just doing what I've been doing. I seem to have set up a more gravitational hamster wheel in the living room, just watching TV and running through books, going that route. But nonetheless, it's all connected. I promise I'm talking about the same thing I'll be talking about at the end of this. But that's kind of what it is. It's like I seem to have forgotten my intention with my life. I seem to have forgotten what I want to do, what I want, even from moment to moment. I have almost no sense of focus, and there's also like a bit of ADD in my lineage, DNA stuff or whatever, but like I've been having a lot of fun debating that in my mind with my mind, because it's like I'll feel my focus go away. I'll feel myself pay attention to something else. But I'm still alive. I'm very much trying to be present all the time, and it's like that's a focus in itself. But like, I mean, it's just hard to really find an intention that's for like the greater good of everything too, all at once. And I'm not even sure what that actually means from this vantage point here that I sit at, but I know my body has led me here and is making me do this as we speak. I don't know who's driving anymore. Am I moving this thing or is it moving me? I don't know. Simply because of the place I've found in my own life with looking at my own journey with it. But anyway, so this one goes out to all my friends who actually have ADHD or any of that ADD stuff, any of this confusion about it, or you're even predisposed to it. I don't know. There's just a cool set of thoughts I've been playing with the whole idea of attention span. And I think the whole thing is much more about what you enjoy with your life and what you're actually trying to do with it, It's no wonder that we lose attention on boring things because people are boring, and that, maybe you're super hyperactive that day and you'd rather be working out or writing music or something, It's like you know better. Your body knows better the whole time, even when you're a kid. It's the weirdest thing, you know, and it's so hard to put words to. Like, I feel like we're just hit with abstract waves of feelings, and it's up to us to compartmentalize it, and nobody's trying to help, you know? I don't know, man. It just seems like you can tell some people have compartmentalized better than others, but it's all in the name of, like, moving forward, but to where, I don't know. You know, everybody's going a bunch of different places at once, and it seems like with my life, I'm trying to just get to total unity with reality to the point where I don't really have to exist inside of it while I go about my life, so I can actually enjoy what's real to the max. You know, I've actually found a lot of beauty in being able to appreciate every little detail of my life lately, because I was playing a lot of video games, and a lot of those are they're almost like every single video game is almost like, you're the chosen one, you must do this and this. It's like all this work, you know, and you end up going on this, like you go on this process when it's got these patterns and routines, and as you get better and level up, it's like there's so much more to enjoy, but it's still the same patterns and routines, and then you end up finding yourself wondering what's the point of any of it. And it's kind of ridiculous to go like that. And man, this is one of my favorite stories lately, because, of course, my brother's still recovering, and I'll call him a bunch as I can. And one time we were talking, and as I was going through those set of feelings playing video games on the phone with him, I asked him what he thought the point of life was in that moment. He's in the middle of trying to get his fingers to move again, and, you know, everything at this point is moving real slow, but it's like, that dude's attitude's amazing, because he said, I'm just trying to get out alive. And then I told him, but nobody gets out alive. To which he responded, nobody but me. It's still like, if that ain't the thing, you know, you needed a backup philosophy for when your own philosophy's not working so well. And, you know, I've always known this guy is legendary in his own right. But now, coming from that recovery bed he's on and the stuff he says, it's like, not only is it going to mean a lot, but it's still going to be him. You know, there's still classic whatever. But, like, that line right there, man, if that ain't the truth. But, yeah, from what I've noticed, it's like if you really want something, you'll care about it to the end, you know. It's just a thread. It's not like you have to hold on to a whole boat, you know. It's like whatever the idea is, that's all you got to really care about. That's all you really got to focus on. None of the other details about it, no matter how important they may or may not be. What do you want? You know? And so we're looking at mostly with the fact that there's everything to do and whatever, you know, it's how do you find, I mean, there's just no time to meet everybody in the world. You know, there's no time to do every single thing, you know, it's just we don't. And for that reason alone, it's like, really, I hope you're doing what you're trying to do or you're getting the most out of it, you know. But if there's no point to it and it doesn't matter and you live on that side of it, and then time passes and you find yourself missing these times, and that's what's made me laugh the most, because it's like as I try to remember. Like, we've been having fun remembering memories as much as we can, as hard as we can. That's been making the time pass on a really interesting level. And it kind of helped me come back full circle to what I was, to get out of my own head for a second with all this. And, this stuff is such a tightrope to talk about. I feel like I'm talking about everything and nothing all at once. I'm sorry if I lose my train of thought about it, but no, I got it. As we try to remember these memories, like, it's starting to get like, oh my God, I didn't even remember that. But it's like the stuff you do remember, when you start trying to explain it, there's, you know, you can only explain what you can remember, what you can see or whatever. And you know, memories change and all that, but that doesn't change the game here. What I've been doing as we try to remember certain things, like, it's gotten to the point for me where not only am I trying to remember the place, I'm terrible with what people said, but I'll get to that. That seems like a level 10 thing for me, personally, because I'm all up in all the sensory stuff, you know, but it's like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, I can really take myself to a place super hard if I remember a time on some little moment of peace, sitting on some balcony somewhere in the sunshine with my dad, and the way we're just drinking coffee together, the way he lifts his cup as the smoke just kind of dances off of his glass as he brings it to his lips, and the sun's out on us, so it feels hot. I can feel the wind go on the hairs of my forearms as it goes across. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to plug into these days. And it's hilarious because if I bring that appreciation back into this rat race routine, it's a whole different story. And I don't even know what to call it, but I know it's worth sharing with y'all because this one, I mean, when you're talking about what's the point, oh my God, it's so hard to say there is one. It's like anybody that's got a good thing to say and takes a stand by it is almost taking a very presumptive and almost arrogant stance on the universe by assuming a conclusion in something that endings don't really exist until we're out of this thing. As far as being in this whole reality space, it's like punctuation marks are just transition marks, really. It's like you find the end of a book and it says the end, and you close it and you walk off, and then something else starts. It's like, I don't even know what's really ending or starting or any of that. And to take a place and really be able to say something is, it's just pretty epic, and that's what makes me laugh about this whole thing, is because, like, all of these are sandbars. All for me, it's like I return to these spots and they'll either become an island or more people will build on it, but they're born. These ideas are, and I'm not saying that they're original either. That's what the most fun is. Like, everything is your playground, and it's just there's a million ways to say the same old thing, and I don't know. Actually, this one's seems like a bigger deal to me though. But like, just as far as attention span goes, it's like it's directly connected to your intention, and I've been teaching kids how to play music since I was like 15 or something. I'm like 31 now, but like in the last 7 specifically, because I started working at the School of Rock for a little bit doing that, and I'm going on like my 7th year now. But it's like all the different instruments and all the different personalities and all the different ages and all the different ideas and belief systems. I mean, I feel weird being an assertive teacher. I let people come in and they drive me. They tell me what's on their heart. They know exactly what they want, even if they don't entirely know it. It's just they know it, but they're lazy. If I think about the way I thought when I was 17 versus the way I thought when I was 11 versus the way I thought when I was like 6, it's like there was a part of me that always wanted to just play and create and make music and chase wisdom. It was like that, and everything that I did was meant to happen the way it did or whatever to get me to here. But it's not like if in that moment, if I'd had a little bit more insight or, I could have probably done more homework than, save myself the trouble later or whatever. But like the whole point to me is if it makes sense to upgrade ourselves as programs. It's like I embrace the fact that I'm a program. I embrace the predictability about who I am and all the little bitty things. There's nothing to hate as much as it is to hate that it's another form of love. You're just giving something attention, and even if you love to hate something, you still love it. You love to possess it like that in your mind. Therefore, so it's your best bet is to just keep going and move along about it, and really try not to take a stand on it, because it's like you really don't. Who are you to say? And if you actually got to empathize hard enough where you live that entire life, you have nothing to say. In fact, all I can do is just continue to wish the best, but I feel like it's more about intending the best so I can keep my attention on the best and stay that route. And it's but if we don't know what we want and we really don't know what that means, then it's difficult. And that's as far as like when it comes to creativity and all that, and what are you really trying to do with everything. And you don't have to have the answer, but your body knows that for now, I need to get ready for tomorrow. You know, I may not be good enough to have to execute the cool ideas that I have in my head yet, or you know, but it's just a matter of actualizing something and creating it as the next target, and then once you get there, it's just another mountaintop to start over from. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I appreciate y'all listening. I know there's like, this is a small minded crew of people I love dearly, and um, I don't even really care what happens. This whole thing is just kind of like a creativity course that just needs to be found, you know, and once whoever finds it is whatever, you know, this isn't really about what it is so much as like what it gives to whoever finds this, you know, but like, for where I was at, all I'm trying to say is like I've been almost I've just been so down. Like my heart's just been so exhausted. It's been hard to get up and do anything. You know, especially this. I feel like nobody wants to hear from me. You know, it's like you start getting real dark and down on yourself, and you know the other half of me is like, well, also don't lose it and drop a whole bunch of f-bombs all over this thing. I feel all the ways about all these things, man, and I'm just tired, you know, and my intention is, as I rethink what I actually want, you know, I still don't have an answer myself, and at the same time, I know I just want to make as much better as I can while I'm here, because if I'm a program, that means you're a program too, and then there's also software programs, and then you know, it's just really neat, all the things that you can modify, and yet we don't. I don't know. I know I should keep reading books. I know that I intend to not be lazy. How's that? Because I don't think there's anything that we do that makes us worse or go backwards. You know, even mowing the lawn has a purpose. Helps you understand what you're missing. If you're mad at mowing the lawn, then that means you're doing something. You're doing something right. If you have to stop everything to mow the lawn and that upsets you, then you have some sort of compass. You know, but I think it still has to get done, you know. I'm bad about dishes myself, but it's like in those moments, I really try to make myself remember why I don't like to do the dishes. It's not that I don't like to. It's like I'm just so inspired by the rest of my life, you know. Which is really funny because even when I'm depressed and sitting there all sad, I'm still going through a book. I'm still going through these series online or whatever, and I just feel like I'm not getting anything done. And I really believe what I feel. Which is probably where I'm laughing, because it's like I know better. So I watch myself believe what I feel while this higher intention defense mechanism kicks in, and I'm still running drum rudiments or something, going through some book I didn't write, you know, letting someone else think for a while. But yeah, all that being said, coming full circle here, just the fact that you exist, I make this. And thank you for continuing to exist, and thank you for building off of whatever we have here to build off of together. I don't even need to know who you are, you know? This may not even be for people that are alive right now, you know, for all I care. I just want to make sure this whole thread comes out right. I want to make sure everything y'all are up to goes right. I want to make sure you don't delude yourself. Mostly, it's like this is the whole journey to self-honesty on a level maybe none of us are ready for, but who cares? We'll do it slowly, and we have all the lifetimes we need, you know, really, because if you end up thinking about all the different people you are during the day, all the different emotions, they're just moods that are connected to desires at the moment, so really crazy to try to take all those schizophrenic people and line them up together, but when you have a good solid intention, it's like it's just funny to watch yourself morph and change and kick and scream and complain while progress still happens. It's a good hack, you know. You can even make yourself enjoy it if you do it enough. Just like anything else, you know, whatever you do is exercise, and you're creating neural paths in your head. And, you know, even if it's a physical thing like drumming, I'm still having to think right, left, right, you know, on a neural level, you know. It's ridiculous how much has to happen just for that to happen, you know. And that's just some right, left pattern. Imagine getting mad or angry or hatred or any of these other things, love, jealousy, whatever. The more you do them, the better you get at them, period. So either find something else to do or put it to work in a way that will benefit the whole earth and yourself. I just don't even know what to say. It's like intend better, but focus on that, you know. Don't let your ADD kick in and take your life goals away from you. Who's driving anyway? What is that? All right, cool. I think, I feel better after doing this. And this is a verb, so if you're depressed, go do something, please. Please, somebody, do your stuff. Like, please yourself by mowing your own lawn or something. Maybe, if I got enough time to be upset, I got enough time to clean the baseboards in my bathroom. I don't know. You know what I'm saying, though. So I intend personally to get better at remembering these quote-unquote meaningless moments as they pass. And then I intend to really watch myself actualize in more and more ways as I really try to understand the true nature of creativity by, already understanding it and getting to have the rest of my life to appreciate it further since it's an eternal subject. But anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all for keeping me sane by trying to keep us all sane and having to remember the little sandbars I've made here so I can elaborate on them and remember them again and again and again and again. But hey, man, that's what they're here for. Please take care of yourselves. Do better. Be cool to everybody.